This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Motorola Defy on T-Mobile. This is an Android smartphone. It's priced pretty reasonably at $99, and its claim to fame is its ruggedness. It's not really rated to be stomped on, but it is rated to be water resistant and dust proof. As you can see here, we have a rubberized surround on it. And we've got rubber caps over the ports here, and Motorola does say before you go dunking it in the water, which you can do, just make sure to cover all the little ports. And here again, we've got the USB port also under a rubber door, which swivels, so it's pretty easy to use. And on the back, we actually have a lock for the back because it seals on to avoid dust and water infiltration. You can see here, there's a plastic ledge here and a surround seal that helps keep out dust and water. If you take the battery out, you'll find the micro SD card slot. I guess they didn't really want to put it as a side-loading slot because that would require yet another rubber waterproof door. And here's your SIM card slot over here. And then the battery goes in like so on top of those. So if you don't want to use USB mass storage mode or Bluetooth file transfer, then you actually got to turn off the phone to access that card if you want to take it out to put it in a card reader. So yes, indeed, you can drop this in the fish tank and it will still work. And if you're into whitewater river rafting, as long as you don't smash it on the rocks too, it should have a good chance of surviving. The phone has a 5-megapixel camera back here with a flash. It takes okay pictures, not really the best that we've seen. It's a little bit murky looking, is how we'd put it. But the focusing speed is pretty good, at least on the camera, and it is better than a 3-megapixel camera on some of Motorola's low-end phones. It runs Android 2.1 and it has a 480 by 854 pixel display, which puts it up there with the top spec phones. Motorola always goes for that slightly different 854 display versus 800, so you're actually getting a few extra pixels there. This is Gorilla Glass, which is scratch resistant, and it's a pretty sharp looking display and nice. Not the brightest that we've seen, but it's pretty good. As you can see, this is not stock Android. This is running Motorola's Motoblur software that we typically see on their mid-range handsets, not so much the high-end ones. Whether you like Motoblur or not, that's a matter of personal preference. I find it a bit cluttered. Of course, you can get rid of some of these widgets if you don't want them, but here's one for my email, here's one for Twitter, here's one for another one for Twitter up here. You've got Facebook, you've got all sorts of stuff going on here. They have calendar widgets, T-Mobile's family application, media player, and you got an indicator here that tells you which of the several home screens that you're on. Again, you can wax some of those, but you're still going to have to enter a Motoblur account or set up one when you start using this phone. Motorola won't activate the phone completely unless you do create a Motoblur account. It does have some benefits. It does backup of your stuff. You can remotely wipe the phone, and it remembers all of your Twitter settings, Facebook settings, email, Gmail, that kind of thing, so you can upgrade to a new phone that runs Motoblur and just enter your Motoblur ID and it's going to set it all up for you. Happily, it doesn't seem to slow down the phone that much, as it does on some mid-range phones that have slower CPUs. And here we've got the dedicated shortcut to the dialer, which is your stock Android. Dialer and shortcut to contacts. And it has been customized by Motorola just a bit. Take a look at the contact. You can see it links in with Twitter and any other social networking stuff that you've got going on, which is kind of handy actually. And if you tap on that, you get the usual listing of Android applications, and this is pretty much straight Android here, nothing different. Motorola does throw in a file manager. We always like that. DLNA if you want to do Wi-Fi streaming of media, say from your PC or something like that. Kindle's on board. T-Mobile just loves Kindle. Of course, you can download that from the market anyway. We have full Android market and Google experience. We have Google Search, Google Voice Search, Google Maps, Google Navigation, the YouTube player, and pretty much all the other standard Google applications are here. Also comes with Telenav GPS Navigator. The GPS on this works quite well. I had no problems with it at all. And we've got just a few T-Mobile apps here, access to my account, my device for support on a device, and that kind of stuff. And we've got Blockbuster preloaded on here too if you have a Blockbuster account and you want to download movies to watch on the road. We also have T-Mobile's Wi-Fi calling on board. Now this is not UMA calling, which means it's not going to switch back and forth between your cellular and Wi-Fi networks automatically. What it does mean is if you connect to a Wi-Fi network where you have say a weak T-Mobile signal and you don't want to use or try to use your non-existent signal, you can use Wi-Fi instead to make calls, and it works just fine. If you walk out of range of the access point, your call will drop, so be mindful of the fact you need to stay in range of whatever Wi-Fi access point you're using. And of course, this has Google's usual very good web browser. We're going to take a look at that real quick. So here we are in the browser. It defaults to the T-Mobile portal page, and we'll visit our own website. So you can see, and here's the keyboard. Pretty decent keyboard. As you can see here, it does have URL autocomplete, and it has swipe, for those of you who like the swipe keyboard. So this is over at T-Mobile's 3G network. This has 3G HSDPA 7.2 megabit per second. It does not have HSPA+. Nonetheless, it is quite fast, and we managed to get it up to 5 megs down, according to Ookla speed test. So it performs well. And that's pretty smooth browsing experience and scrolling experience. It's not jerky, it doesn't stutter. And of course we have pinch zooming here. And accelerometer handles orientation for the browser and everything else. Now we're going to take a quick look at Google Maps again so you can see the performance on that. This is maps with spoken turn-by-turn directions and Street View. So here we are, we're downloading map data over T-Mobile's network. Performance is good. Likewise, we can put it in either orientation and pinch and zoom. Press and hold to get Street View if available. And that's very good performance over T-Mobile's 3G network. We do have excellent T-Mobile 3G here. So that is very good Street View performance. So that's Google Maps. Last, we'll just take a quick look at the YouTube player. Now, since this is Android 2.1, this does not have native Flash 10.1, so you're going to watch mobile YouTube here. That's standard quality. And we'll switch to high quality. As you can hear, the speaker is pretty loud and clear. Really nice speaker. Well, that's good performance over T-Mobile's network. Of course, the phone does have Wi-Fi as well if you want to use Wi-Fi. Obviously, since it has Wi-Fi calling. Of course, it has Bluetooth too. So that's the Motorola Defy. It's available now on T-Mobile for $99 with contract. It's great for you people who play around in wet and dusty conditions. Visit our website to read the full review.